Welcome to Excel Radio with Dr. Nick Zyrowski, where we talk with world-class entrepreneurs, executives, and health experts who have unlocked the secrets to Excel health and performance.
Hi, this is Dr. Nick Zyrowski, your health and high performance expert. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the morning multiplier. The morning multiplier is a series of strategies that you can implement into your life in order to help you get the most out of your day, help you have the most amount of focus, clarity, energy, and ultimately help you achieve your goals and have success every single day. I have the opportunity to hang around a lot of highly successful entrepreneurs. And so I learn what these people are doing in their mornings and how they're setting their days up for success. And I also teach many of my patients how to do the same thing. So everything I'm going to talk about today are things that I have witnessed and I have also implemented in my own life at some period of time. So when it comes to setting your day up for success, there's many things you should do, but of course there's many things that you should not do, right? So let's go ahead and get the two major things that I see rookies do that just totally sets their day up for failure, and get these two things out of the way so that we can jump into what you should do. So the first mistake that many rookies make when it comes to setting their day up for success, or I guess failure, if you will, is they jump out of bed and they pick up their smartphone and jump right into chaos, I guess you could say. See, our smartphone is like the Swiss Army knife of modern technology. The smartphone has more power than most high-end computers that money could even buy 30 years ago. We can pick it up and we can see Twitter, Facebook, the news, your calendar, the weather, and of course your email, texts, all the missed calls that you got from last night and this morning, and also all the voicemails, right? So picking up your phone is a really bad way to start your day because you're responding to stimulus immediately when you pick up your phone, and it's just setting your brain up for chaos inside versus organization. So the thing is that most people fall victim to this when they aren't aware of it, and I know I certainly have. And then you probably are, you think about this and you're like, yeah, wow, what a terrible way to start your day. But it's very addictive to do that. And so the first question you're probably asking is, okay, so why do we do this? So each time you dispatch an email or you pick up your phone and you swipe a bunch of emails away, check your Facebook feed and all these different things, what happens is you feel this massive amount of accomplishment. You have this massive reward hormone release in your brain that's telling you that you just did something really great, that you're socially connected in some impersonal weird cyber way, and that you just accomplished so much. And really you didn't accomplish anything at all for the most part. And so you're getting this massive release of hormones that's telling you, hey, good job. But really, and it's causing an addiction. So the thing is, you have to remember is when this happens, you're not, what's happening is that it's the dumb novelty-seeking portion of your brain that's driving the limbic system that induces this feeling of pleasure, not the planning, the scheduling, the high-level thought center of the prefrontal cortex. So you have to make no mistake. When you're doing this, like I said, you're setting your brain up for chaos and reacting to stimulus first thing in the morning versus really organizing your thoughts and setting yourself up for success. But make no mistake, email, Facebook, text, all these things, these are a neural addiction. I mean, so many people will find themselves on Facebook how many times a day? And so obviously we don't want to jump into that first thing in the morning or text or anything else for that matter, because you want to have a very strong psychology going into your day. The next big no-no that I see a lot of newbies do as well is they wake up and they turn on the news. And so I know this is probably no surprise to you. Yeah, maybe you even do it yourself, right? But when you wake up and you turn on the news, you're really priming your brain for a serious problem, because waking up and soaking up every negative thing that's happened in the last 24 to 48 48 hours is not going to benefit you one bit. It's actually terrible for your health, but terrible for your psychology. And so it's not, you're probably thinking, okay, yeah, I don't want to wake up and get brainwashed, but it's not actually called brainwashing. In the field of psychology, it's a phenomena which is referred to as priming, and there's a lot of studies on this. Let me give you an example of one. So John Bargh, who's now, he was previously at New York University, he's now at Yale University. Him and his colleagues demonstrated that priming is really legitimate. It really happens. And so here's how they did it. They had two groups of students that were asked to do a test. The test involved a series of 5 scrambled word groupings. From each grouping, one was to devise a grammatical 4-word sentence. So for example, one of the groupings might include words like blue, the, from, is, sky. And from this grouping, the student's job would be to write the sky is blue. Pretty simple, right? So one group was presented with scrambled sentences that were sprinkled with words such as intrude, bold, rude, bother, infringe, and also disturb. The second group was presented with scrambled sentences containing words like patiently, courteous, appreciated, yield, polite. So you can see right away that they were exposed to very different words in their sentence structures that they had to put together. Obviously, one was more on the negative side and one was more on the positive side. So each student independently completed their test in one room and were told upon completion to walk down to the hall so that they can get their next task in another office, their next test. So for every subject, there was another student, or a stooge, if you will, at the experimenter's office asking a series of questions, forcing the subject to wait. The students who had words like rude, intruder, and all the more the negative words rudely interrupted the students who were asking questions, usually about 5 minutes into their questioning. And the other students who had been exposed to polite words and more positive words, they let the student who was interrupting them go on for 10 plus minutes until they were done with the questions. So there are a bunch of studies that I could talk about here, but here's the point that I'm trying to make. Priming may be used to manipulate your brain in so many ways. The media in particular can shape how we think about ourselves and others in very, very profound ways, and how we go about our days and how we set up our psychology for our day. They can also bolster negative attitudes or weaken the individuals in a very, very destructive way. So many entrepreneurs like to know what's happening in the world or in the markets, for example. So what I suggest is finding an online source where you can skim through the day's news and choose what you want to see and choose what you don't want to see. And of course, I don't suggest that you do this first thing in the morning. I'm going to tell you what you're going to do first thing in the morning if you want to have days that are filled full of success. So like I said, first of all, don't respond to stimulus first thing in the morning. Picking up your phone, looking at Facebook and all these different things, emails, all of that. Get your mind right first. Second of all, don't turn on the news and don't have things that can speak into your life and also change your mental perception on your day and really change your overall outlook on the day. So now, let's jump into the more positive sides of everything. So we talked about what not to do. Let's talk about what to do. And let's start with a topic first that everybody loves, and that is the topic of coffee. So when it comes to coffee, we hear so many things. We hear that it's good for you. We hear that it's bad for you. And a lot of people really don't know what to believe. But I'm going to tell you what high-level entrepreneurs are doing, and I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of health topics in there as well. So when it comes to coffee, here's what you want to do. First of all, it can be good and it can be bad. So if you weren't confused already, now you're really confused. But let's talk about this a little bit. So coffee can be good because it's an antioxidant. It can boost your cortisol levels in the morning, giving you just waking you up and preparing you for the day a little bit better. But a lot of people just enjoy it. But here's what you have to do if you want to have good coffees. First of all, it needs to be organic. You want to make sure that you're using organic coffee and not some other poor source of coffee, because when coffee beans are grown, they're in most cases sprayed very heavily with pesticides. So if you're getting a coffee bean that is not organic, you're getting a coffee bean that has been sprayed with pesticides numerous times, and then it's heated, and then you're going to warm it up. Through the process of making coffee, you're going to warm it up into by running hot water through the coffee grinds, and you're going to be drinking a pesticide laden very warm drink first thing in the morning. That's the first thing you're going to be putting in your body, and for a lot of people, and I'm going to touch on that as well in a minute. So you want to have a good organic coffee because you don't want those pesticides in your body. You don't want to be exposed to those, right? So that's how you go about drinking coffee, and also what you do if you want to have good coffee. So on the other side of that, coffee can also be bad for you. And when coffee is bad for you, it's because your adrenals are already just plummeted, and they have nothing left. So in the case of people who are suffering from adrenal fatigue, which is pretty vast in most cases, I see a lot of adrenal fatigue. So when people are suffering from adrenal fatigue, coffee can further drive those adrenals into the ground. And the reason it does this is because your adrenals are already tapped out because of stress and everything else in your life, and then you're getting this massive cortisol surge in the morning, and your body's just not able to handle. Your adrenals it's further depleting your adrenals to function properly. So if you suffer from adrenal fatigue, which you really don't know in most cases unless you do an adrenal test, which they're a very inexpensive test that we offer here at New Vision, you can do this test and you can find out whether or not your adrenals are fatigued or not. If they are, it's a time to take a little bit of break from coffee and work on getting them functioning properly. And then, of course, go back to drinking your coffee as you wanted to. So we talked about coffee, that it should be organic. It serves as an antioxidant, but there's some things that many people are doing that are helping them have more energy, and also really support their nervous system in the 70 plus trillion cells in their body. And it's not anything new. It's been around for a very long time. However, it has had a recent surge, and that is putting butter in your coffee. When you put butter in your coffee, it really offers your body a lot of good benefits. And of course, it can be good and bad. So the good that happens from using butter or another product called MCT oil is that it's really doing a lot to support your nervous system. So your nervous system is made of 70% plus fat, and you have 70 trillion plus cells in your body that all have a cell membrane around them that need good quality fat. So by increasing good fat, which we've talked about in a previous episode, it's going to support your brain and ultimately help you not have cravings in the morning and that sort of thing. So it's a good way to keep your mind sharp and support your nervous system right off the bat. So a lot of people are putting butter in their coffee. So this can be a good thing, of course, but it also can be a bad thing. It's only a bad thing is if you're sensitive to butter. So a lot of people that I work with, they have sensitivities to dairy products, right? The milk, the butter, the cheeses, that sort of thing. So if you put butter in your coffee, what you're going to want to do is see if it bothers you in any way. Does it disrupt your stomach? Do you find that you have fatigue from it? Do you find that you have no clarity of thought from it. So there's many things that you can just be aware of when you put butter in your coffee, if it's actually affecting you in a good way or in a bad way. Many people will have an upset stomach if it's bothering them in a negative way. And that doesn't mean immediately. That doesn't mean that you drank your coffee and you're expecting it to happen like right then and there. It can happen at any time throughout the day. It could be 10 hours later. So if you're finding that it's affecting you in a negative way, then simply don't do it. Not a big deal. But if it is, helping you out, helping you have more energy in the morning and more clarity of thought and that type of thing, by all means, go ahead and use butter. But there's another option for people who can't handle butter, and that's MCT oil. MCT oil is a special type of fatty acids which are metabolized more freely for energy in the body. Normal fats and oils contain long chain fatty acids. When compared to other fatty acids, MCTs are much shorter in length and they resemble carbohydrates more than fat do. As a result, they're able to be more quickly absorbed in the body and metabolized and be used as energy in the mitochondria. So a lot of people are using MCTs right now. MCTs have some other benefits as well. So first, it's just an instant fuel to your mitochondria. And if you don't know, your mitochondria is within the cell, and it's the power plant of the cell of the human body. So being that the MCTs are able to be quickly absorbed and used as energy very freely in the mitochondria, that's a pretty big deal, instead of being stored as fat. So the other benefit is that MCTs have been shown to enhance thermogenesis, which is heat production, which will help you burn fat in the body. And it also has been shown to increase metabolism as well. So there's two things that you can add to your organic coffee in the morning: butter or MCTs. Both of them have shown to have massive benefits, and I see so many high-level entrepreneurs using this method in order to help them get an increased dose of fat first thing in the morning and be able to have more clarity of mind. But of course, if the butter doesn't work out for you, try the MCTs instead. So some people like their coffee black. If you like your coffee black, you still put the butter, the MCT oil in it just the same. You put it in the blender for a second, and there you have it. You're done. Many people like creamer, though, in their coffee. And the problem with creamer is that most people are using a very poor quality dairy product that in most cases is, they're sensitive to it. Their body has a allergy to it, and it's just not doing them any favors by any means. And I can say this because I run this test on a lot of people to find out what they're sensitive to, what is secretly driving inflammation in the body, what is secretly just causing you to crash throughout your day. And so many people are sensitive to dairy products, and if you don't know if you are, look for the same type of signs that I was talking about with butter, fatigue, upset stomach, and it doesn't have to be as soon as you drink the dairy. It could be later on in the day. But some good alternatives, though, are things such as almond milk or coconut creamer. There's plenty of really good ones that are out on the market today. They're not hard to find. You can find them in most any stores. And lastly, when it comes to the topic of coffee, you don't want to use sugar in your coffee if you can help it, but rather some sweeteners. So I say sweeteners because sweeteners are things that they taste sweet. However, they don't drive up the glucose levels in the body, such as cane sugar would, for instance, or high fructose corn syrup, which is terrible for you. So if you can get away from the sugar, then use the sweeteners, and they're gonna, you're not gonna have like some massive dose of sugar first thing in the morning. You can use the sweeteners, and some examples of those are stevia, truvia, xylitol, those sorts of things. Of course, if you are going to use some sort of sugary product, you're best to go with maybe the paleo route, for instance. Using things such as honey or maple syrup is a great way to go like a paleo route when making your coffee. So it's not using a refined sugar or poor quality sugar, but more of a healthier source. However, you're sticking to the sweeteners, which are products, like I said, such as Truvia and Stevia, you're much better off. You don't want to raise your glucose levels first thing in the morning. It causes you to crash throughout the day. And the whole purpose of putting the butter or the MCT in the MCT oil in your coffee is really to give you steady energy all day, or steady energy all morning at the very least. So once again, get a good quality coffee, and then go ahead and put the butter, the MCT oil in it, a better quality creamer such as almond milk, coconut milk, and the different sweeteners that are not going to raise your glucose. The next morning multiplier that I want to talk about is meditation. Meditation has proven to work very well for many entrepreneurs. Just recently, I was at an event where Tim Ferriss spoke, and someone from the crowd had asked him, what is the biggest multiplier that you have implemented into your life to really help you take your performance to the next level? And he said it was meditation. He said it was something that was very hard for him to do in order to calm his mind and stay focused. But it was a big multiplier in his life, and he wishes he would have known that to do this 20 years ago when he first started, because it's just really helped him with his career. For those of you who don't know Tim Ferriss is the author of 4-Hour Work Week, 4-Hour Body, 4-Hour Chef, and he was just recently. They had an article on him in Forbes, and it was all about him and his company. And it was top over $1 million a year companies with one person. So one person $1 million a year companies, and Tim Ferriss was one of the top ones. So most entrepreneurs, when they go through their day, obviously. They need to be highly focused and active and constantly motivated to achieve, their self-development. But in most entrepreneurs' lives, they're juggling many things. You have phone calls, emails, meetings, just so many things going on. Problems that come into the workplace. So you're juggling many things at once, and there's really no room for not being able to answer questions, or just being totally stressed out, impatient, rude to people. There's really no room for that. You really have to be on your game all the time. So one of the things that entrepreneurs around the world have incorporated is meditation. And when we talk about meditation, we're just talking about mindful meditation, calming your mind and just being present. We're not talking about some hippie thing or some religious thing, nothing like that. It's all just calming your mind, getting focused, just getting the clutter out. Just like we talked about before, there's so many temptations and so many things bombarding our minds that we need to shut it down. And this is a good way to do it, is by meditating. So there's a lot of different meditation techniques out there. And like I said, they're very, very helpful for reducing stress, anxiety, all those types of things. But mindful meditation is just a very common practice amongst entrepreneurs in order to calm their mind. Many of the entrepreneurs that I've spoke to have said that once they started meditating, here's some of the benefits that they've stated. They're able to have more focus throughout the day. They're able to handle projects with clear, calm state of mind. They were able to have less stress. They were able to be more positive. I've also heard of it improving the memory, making them more creative, more happy, and of course more healthy, because if you're able to calm the stress down and not have stress hormones surging in your body throughout the day, that's going to make you more healthy. So a very common practice now in the morning is meditation. So the next common practice that I see amongst a lot of entrepreneurs in the morning is cold thermogenesis. And what cold thermogenesis is literally taking a cold shower, taking a cold bath, or strapping yourself with ice packs for a period of time. And so obviously that doesn't sound very fun, right? And it's not, believe me. But it is something, like I said, all these things I'm talking about here, I've implemented in my own life for either a period of time or still do. And I definitely will again if I'm not doing them right now. But cold thermogenesis is a very interesting topic because it really has many components to it. See, I was first introduced to cold thermogenesis by a friend in school that was training for the Olympics. She would tell me, due to their really high intensity, stressful workouts that were very rigorous every single day, they would have to soak in ice baths. So they'd fill the bath with cold water and they'd dump a bunch of ice in it. And the reason that they did this was in order to shut down the inflammatory process, but also for muscle recovery. See, I was later introduced to this again when I played college hockey. So we would go and we'd have back-to-back games all day. And let's say if we traveled to St. Louis, for instance, we would go, that night we would be taking ice baths, and that would help prepare us for back-to-back games the next day. Once again, muscle recovery, shutting down the inflammation. And so that was the second time I was introduced to cold thermogenesis. The third time I was introduced to cold thermogenesis was by high-performing entrepreneurs. And they're doing this for a couple reasons. They're doing it for the health benefits, but also entrepreneurs like it for a very motivational perspective. So most people are scared of being uncomfortable. If you don't want to be scared of being uncomfortable, one of the things that you can do is take 30 days of cold showers. Joe DeSena from the Spartan races, I also had the opportunity to listen to him speak as of recently, and he says start your day with a cold shower, because no matter what you have to face the rest of the day, it will not suck nearly as bad as that cold shower did. It helps people break through many barriers in their lives all the time. Because what people find is that the same excuses that they find themselves telling others and themselves why they can't achieve something is typically the same exact excuse that they will tell themselves and others why they can't take a cold shower. You'll have a million reasons you shouldn't take a cold shower, but at the core of all of these reasons is really that you're just not comfortable with being uncomfortable. Typically, the same thing will happen in all areas of your life that are going to be holding you back. Once you make the decision to be uncomfortable, barriers will break down much quicker in your life. But that's the most motivational piece of cold thermogenesis. And like I said, I see a lot of entrepreneurs doing this because it's just a matter of making your subconscious and do something that you don't want to do. It's turning that subconscious off and saying, this is what I'm going to do, and really having that willpower to jump into a cold shower. Like I said, it's not fun at all, but from a motivational perspective, it helps people really tear down many barriers. So let's talk about cold thermogenesis now from a health perspective, because it has a huge health perspective. That's why the young lady was doing it when she was training for the Olympics, and that's also why in college my hockey coach had us doing it at night to prepare us for the games the next day. So here's some other major benefits of it. So first of all, it's in order to increase brown adipose tissue. And let's talk about that for a minute. So brown adipose tissue is primarily found around the collarbone, sternum, neck, and the upper back. It's a unique kind of fat that generates heat by burning the regular white fat, which you're going to find around your stomach, your hips, your legs, that sort of thing. This is found in babies and individuals all the time, but people who are exposed to cold temperatures on a regular basis have a lot more brown adipose tissue. Compared to doing, and the reason that you want to have more brown adipose tissue is because it's going to help you burn more fat. So it's a good thing to have this brown adipose tissue. Compared to doing a rigorous morning workout in a fasted state, you can also get some very good results in cutting off the fat by using cold thermogenesis, and it achieves a similar fat burning effect. But it's just not stressful on your joints, and is also not exercise. It's just a matter of, like I said, jumping into a cold bath or strapping on the ice vest, that sort of thing. So here's some of the health benefits that it has. It helps lower body fat. It's going to increase your metabolism, which is going to help you burn fat, but also it's going to increase the brown adipose tissue that is going to increase heat production, ultimately helping you burn more fat. It also is going to help balance hormones. And when you balance hormones, you obviously are going to help, help you sleep better. It's going to help you balance your thyroid issues if you have that. It helps lower blood sugar, cut food cravings, improves the adrenal function, enhances your immune system, and it also increases pain tolerance, reducing inflammation. So, like I said, cold thermogenesis has a huge motivational piece, but it also has a very big health piece. And I see so many entrepreneurs using cold thermogenesis today, and it's a great from a health perspective, and it also is a good way if you can't get a morning workout in, strap on an ice vest. There's plenty of different companies out there that make them. Jump in if you have a cold lake you can go to, or if you can just take a cold shower. It's a very good way to utilize cold thermogenesis. A lot of people are using the cold ice vest because they can work at an ice vest. However, it's pretty hard to work on the computer or something while you're in a cold shower. So use cold ice vests while you're sitting at your desk, and this will give you the benefits of cold thermogenesis. I also find that many high-level entrepreneurs like to get their workouts done first thing in the morning. To be able to jump out of bed, just get your workout done, you feel very accomplished right off the bat. So it's having a sense of accomplishment first thing in the morning is also great as well. And I'm giving you tons of different tactics and ideas in whatever order you decide to do them in is all your choice. I mean, it's different for every single person. But of course, getting your workout done is a great way to start off a high energy morning as well. And then with the topic of cold thermogenesis, it's a great way to come back from a run and cool down your body. So let's say you come back from a run, you're really just sweaty, hot. Of course, you have to cool down your core so that you can get dressed for work and move on with your day. One of the great ways to cool down your core is to jump in a cold shower and just, some people like to start it warm, slowly turn it to the cold, or some people just go straight in cold, and it just really whatever fits your fancy. The last thing that I want to talk about is the new vision time fit system that I teach all my patients to use. And many entrepreneurs are using something very similar to this. It's just we have a system that we use here in New Vision Health Center that I teach to my patients in order to help them be more productive through the day. However, I'm going to just go into it a little bit about what it is. So the New Vision time system is literally one piece of paper that allows you to put all your goals and all the different tasks that you want to accomplish that week right in front of you on one piece of paper. It has your meals planned out, your workouts planned out, your projects that you need to complete, and it also helps you chart whether you completed these projects or you haven't. I think it's very powerful to be able to have one piece of paper that has everything that you would like to do and really your whole week laid out for you. Simply because that way you can visit this paper every single morning and you just can look at it and say, all right, here's what I have to do for the day, right? In today's world where you have a million different tasks pulling you in different directions, phone calls, meetings, projects, deadlines, you name it. There's just a lot of clutter going on in your brain. So in order to be able to take massive action every day and achieve the projects that will move the needle the most, stay focused on the goal, we must hone in on what is clutter and what is important in your day. By reviewing all your projects and then specifically focusing on the ones that absolutely must get done every single morning, we're able to structure our minds properly for the day. This system allows people to go out and really go through their week with less stress, more energy, and ultimately perform at a higher level because they know what tasks must get done. And so just to do a recap on all the things we talked about, right? We talked about what not to do. Turn off the news. Don't grab things that are just going to bombard you first thing in the morning. If you're going to drink some coffee in the morning, use some different forms of creamers, some almond milk creamer, coconut milk creamer, if you're a creamer type of person. But the most important takeaway from that is you can add MCTs or butter to your coffee, and this is going to help supply your brain, your nervous system, and your 70 plus trillion cells in your body with the good fats that it needs. The next thing that you can do is meditate, calm your mind in order to be able to have better focus throughout the day and less stress. There's tons of benefits to that. Get your morning workout in, and then from there you can do cold thermogenesis, or just do cold thermogenesis without a workout, whatever. Like I said, there's a huge benefit to doing that in order to just burn fat every single day. And then, of course, lastly, I talked about the New Vision time system that we use. And like I said, it's a one-page paper that has all your goals for the whole week. It has all your meals on it. It has all your workouts. It has everything all laid out for you on one piece of paper, so you can look at it and know exactly what is expected to get done that week and not have any guesswork, and also keep you focused on your goals. The last thing that I want to talk about is, and I'm gonna mention it briefly, is that the morning is a time where you have the most willpower. It's a scientific fact that human beings have more willpower in the morning to complete tasks. So there's always tasks that an entrepreneur has that they don't feel like completing. There's tasks that anybody has that they don't feel like completing. I mean, I run into it all the time myself. So in the morning, it's proven that we have more willpower. Make sure you take those tasks that you've been putting off, that you've been avoiding, and take care of them and tackle them first thing in the morning, because that is when you will have the most willpower to get them done, and that is how you're going to move the needle. I hope all these different strategies that I personally use in my own life, and I see many high-level entrepreneurs using, help you take your health and your performance to the next level. Till next time, have a great day.
If you want more information to multiply your health and simplify your lifestyle, visit our website at excelpodcast.com. Until next time, have an outstanding day.